Finance is a broad and essential field impacting our daily lives, not just in APSA. It goes beyond just writing numbers. Rather, it involves decision-making and mindful financial choices. To help APSA navigate through these financial choices successfully, I hope to bring my own experiences to the table. For instance, or for starters, hi, my name is Melinda Pudijohartono, and I am running for the Director of Finance position for the 2025-2026 school year. I'm a first-year accounting major pursuing my goal in earning a CPA and master's degree. Looking back on how I developed this goal, I reflected on my high school experience when I was elected as treasurer for Asian Pacific Islander Club. There, I was able to manage budgets for custom jackets and events, fostering community while generating profit for the club. I learned how to organize different financial documents and collaborated with different advisors. As APSA's finance director, I aim to implement a key lesson that I learned in high school, maintaining clear and orderly records. Through several accounting classes, including MIS 180, I have gained proficiency in Google Sheets and Excel to create financial records. This will help me communicate balances and totals efficiently to board, enabling us to adjust our spendings in order to save for significant events like HSC and FTS. While I was in high school, I was able to experience my first internship at an accounting company. There, I learned that collaboration is a required skill in a community setting. Whether it's correctly sending invoices or calculating taxes, it was always key. As I will hopefully have a fundraising director as my co-assistant, I will work closely with them to ensure that our financial goals and fundraising efforts are aligned. The AAPI community's distinct perspectives promote creativity and diversity. With this, I aim to highlight the AAPI community by spreading awareness towards small businesses. I plan to allocate a portion of our funds from our fundraisers to support these businesses, aligning with our mission statement to unite a diverse community together. With the help of our fundraising director, the partnership will not only help us secure necessary funds for APSA's events, but also support the growth of AAPI businesses. Through completing APSA's Finance Shadows program, attending E-Squared and E-Board meetings, capstones, and collaborating with the current finance director, I've developed leadership skills, especially in communication. As finance director, clear communication through email and in person is crucial. Reflecting from my experience working in high school advisors, I aim to collaborate with AS similarly, ensuring APSA's financial needs are met through effective communication with the AS Funding Committee. Additionally, I have become more observant and perceptive, identifying needs and opportunities to make informed decisions that support APSA's financial health and growth. My name is Melinda Pudijohartono, and with my experience in financing, I aim to implement budgeting strategies to ensure APSA's future is filled for more opportunities to foster an inclusive community for everyone, just as it did for me. Thank you.
APSA is a nonprofit cultural political organization. How will you ensure its financial integrity to be able to confidently make decisions and answer questions?
Can you repeat that question?
APSA is a nonprofit cultural political organization. How will you ensure its financial integrity to be able to confidently make decisions and answer questions?
For instance, since it's a nonprofit organization, I hope to at least fundraise in a way that would also support APSA and AAPI fundraising, and making sure that it connects with our mission statement. In a way. And since it's nonprofit, I would hope that we don't have the integrity to try and steal money or take money away from people. Rather, we want to try and make it useful for everyone, especially making a community and making sure that we have a club that is more inclusive rather than just using money for no reason.
Night market, KSF, FTS, and banquet. This is the big four. So far, you've lost money on night market and KSF. Also, shirts aren't selling, unfortunately. Spring semester comes around, and activities ask for a new canopy to replace the broken one for FamBam. The webmaster asks to renew their software licenses. The FTS codes demand you to buy an expensive speaker, and E-Squared's event requires many pizzas/water bottles. How will you decide who to say no to, if any?
Well, I would first want to see all the reasons, list out all the reasons, make sure, see which ones are actually really relevant to what we actually need for an event. For instance, water bottles and food are very essential in an event, but like probably like whatever you listed, there's probably one that wasn't really relevant to the event or like not really necessary. And there's probably something else that can replace it that would probably be more cheaper. So that's why I would probably just talk with the person that gave that reasoning and make sure that there's probably a cheaper alternative, and I want to talk to them about that. And if they do agree, then we can always just buy it. So that way it's better for us to keep a very good stabilized budget.
Your year will likely require you to play the role of fundraising. Some fundraisers are naturally more profitable than others, but they can require more effort or are less interesting to you personally. What are your fundraising goals, especially regarding FTS, and who will you go to for support?
My fundraising goals, I thought about this because I didn't really think there was going to be a fundraising director, but I hope to implement more around like a family-oriented type fundraiser. For example, I want to collaborate with the activities coordinator, as he said in his speech, that he wants to implement more family and collaboration with M4 families to make sure that all of them are communicating and all of them are like making a sense of community that hopefully would actually help us fund as well. For instance, I was given a fundraiser that was seemed like very open, and I felt like it was a great fundraiser to do. For example, it's like tote and painting, which I think was a very good idea to implement, especially afterwards they were able to socialize at a boba place or something, and I felt like that was some type of fundraiser that I really want to implement more of. And what was the other part of the question?
Just who will you go to for support?
I will for sure go for support with activities director, just to make sure that like our things align with like, because that tote and bag painting thing requires a lot of collaboration with both academic and activities coordinator, just to make sure that like the families are aligned and everything's good. And I would also probably go with the AS funding committee just to make sure that we have enough funds for those events and fundraisers, and also so we can raise enough money for APSA.
And then we'll open up to audience questions.
Why is it important to keep track of an organization's financials, such as the Venmo balance?
I think it's very important to keep that in mind, because in order for us to know what like our balances are and like what we do, like we need to make sure that certain one certain thing isn't bothering our budget. For example, if I want to try and make a organized form and there's one thing bothering it because of one thing that we had on Venmo that wasn't like calculated on that form, it would be like kind of crucial, because it would be kind of like really bad for me to like find out what I was missing or what I was doing. And so I think it's best to make sure that it's correlated together.
Night market is not always largely profitable. In previous years, we've even lost money from hosting it. while other AAPI organizations have profited off of their booths. How would you ensure that we can make a profit from night market?
I think with night market, since it's pretty much a lot of vendors working together to, like, I guess, put out what they want to do. I think for us, I think there's a way to at least try and put more effort into getting APSA out rather than those other side organizations that are also putting themselves out in our night market. And I hope to sorry, can you repeat one more time the question?
Night market is not always profitable. In previous years, we've lost money from it, while other API orgs have profited. How would you ensure that we can make a profit off of night market?
I also just want to communicate more with like what we want to have as a finance director. Like I want to make sure that we gotta like try and profit off of what we're doing. So that's why I want to try and see like what we're doing for night market to see what are like the flaws, what are the good things that we've been doing, and like continue the good things while taking out the bad things that we've done in night market. That's why I want to look at past records as well for night markets to see what type of errors are we making and what can we improve on to make sure that our financials with night market increase rather than decrease.
Thank you, Melinda.